Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to this YouTube channel. It's your guy Igor here. This video is dedicated to why I left Toronto and moved to this ice-cold Calgary, and I'm not coming back. So it might be a little bit negative video, but I have to tell what I gotta tell. Why I moved out of Toronto. I used to live in Scarborough, Ontario, basically Toronto, and I love that place for good. And well, I was thinking I would go back, but eventually I was like, I'm never going back at this point. I don't like using the word never, but I gotta say, why I left was number one is, and it's ironic because I'm an immigrant. Too many immigrants in Toronto. And yes, I'm a hypocrite like that. I'm an immigrant myself. And I found out that in Toronto there are too many immigrants. And what it means is, number one, is more competition in terms of getting jobs. You know, there's a lot of people who are way brighter, way smarter than me, and you have to compete against the crowd of people that are willing to do exactly what you are willing to do, but faster, better, and more importantly, for less money. My main goal was actually to move to Calgary to get my immigration done. And I realized that it's more difficult to compete with everyone there. By more immigrants, even migrants, even people who are coming from Ukraine right now, where I'm originally from, they're inflowing into major cities like Toronto. And well, by family that just stayed in my Airbnb here from Ukraine, they said they were just sitting in a room and looking at each other, not knowing what to do because there are so many immigrants in Toronto and there's so much of competition to get around. In that way, I realized that Calgary has more opportunities because it's not as popular and overrated city as Toronto, let's say. Another part of me moving to Calgary over Toronto is higher paid jobs. Might be also somehow connected to the fact myself being an immigrant and other immigrants willing to do the same job or even more for less money. So yeah, Calgary pays better in that way as well. So less competition in terms of searching for jobs, which gives more opportunities for employment, for business and everything. Higher paid jobs. Next part I found out after I moved here, well, I did my research before, is actually you pay less taxes here. So it's only 5% GST. So less taxes, which makes the living actually more affordable. So lesser cost of living. Now, you see a pile of snow behind me and people be like, yeah, I moved to an ice cold place. Don't worry about the snow. It's not that cold. You see how I'm dressed up right now. It's not that cold out here. So the thing just takes a lot of time to melt through the winter. But cheaper life standard in Calgary, less taxes, the prices are cheaper, you're making more money. So literally, you're making more money and it is more affordable than in Toronto, here in Calgary. It makes sense. So from whatever you made, if whatever you made goes, like this is the chunk of money that you made, right? You have this much of left versus you spent everything for your life, for your expenses, life expenses in Toronto. It makes sense. You have a little bit more money, you can afford a vacation, you can afford a trip back home. Like I went for a 3-month vacation to India with my wife to her parents' place in South India where they have retired. So like, would I have that kind of money in Toronto? I know a lot of people don't. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here. Another part of it, you know, like look at this backyard. It's pretty nice, right? It's big. It's my house. A lot of people cannot have that in Toronto. A lot of people I studied with, we went to the same college. Some of them got even better jobs than me, better paying jobs. You know, they got they went up the career ladder, but they don't have a backyard because the housing market there is unaffordable. I know guys, right now, a lot of people were telling me, why don't you move to Toronto? I'm like, look, I love having my own backyard. I love having my own property. I love, you know, being able to save up a little bit of money for vacation. I love a cheaper life standard of this sort. Now, I know a lot of people are going to criticize me saying that, hey, how about the winter? Like, how about the snow you have here, you know, in Calgary? I'm going to say, guys, it's not that bad. It's cold, but it's not that bad actually, because look at the sunshine right now. we have a capital of the sunlight and sunshine here in Canada, here in Calgary, and things like that. In fact, guys, I visited Toronto just recently, not too long ago, and a lot of people are saying, hey, it takes me 40 minutes to an hour and a half to get to my work, and then the same amount to get back. Meanwhile, in Calgary, my job have never taken me more than 15 minutes to get to work and back. 15 there, 15 back. That's it. Some people have even a lesser commute. So less driving, less traffic, less people, cheaper life standard, cheaper housing, cheaper groceries, more salaries, and overall the quality of life, cleanliness and everything is just better in Calgary. That's why I don't want to go back to Toronto. Now, of course, all the stuff that I said against Toronto right now, you know, like and everything. Yes, in Toronto there are some huge companies. Yes, there are some huge opportunities. But, you know, honestly, if you think about it, you know, there are some headquarters and CEOs, but there is one CEO, and then there's so many people wanting to be a CEO. How many of you are going to be a CEO? I don't, like for me, I did statistics when I was studying my university degree, and I did my economics, I did masters in economics, I did project management, PMP certification, I did immigration law, I have a diploma in immigration as well, and real estate and logistics. Like I had so much of education, including global business management certificate 2 years when I came as an international student to Canada, postgraduate from Centennial College in Toronto. That's where I stayed. And then I realized it's very difficult to get your immigration done, and plus it's very difficult to make any decent kind of income there. And right now the housing market is just unaffordable. So short and short, I moved to Calgary and I got my immigration done. I tried going back and I couldn't go back for these reasons, because it just does not make sense. The life in Toronto, unless you are very rich already, doesn't make sense, because it's just overinflated, overrated, overpopulated, over-immigrated place in Canada that, yeah. And in terms of Calgary, like I want to be honest with you about Calgary. First of all, yeah, it's cold here, so stay out. Don't make it a bad city. Don't make it overcrowded and too popular. So yeah, it's cold here and it's bad. Please don't move. Okay, just keep it the way it is. Affordable, nice, and higher incomes. Because once the competition is here and all the people are here, it might become just as Toronto. Another part about it, if it does ever become as Toronto, I already have 2 real estate properties. I'm planning to buy a third one. And yeah, I think that it's a good time to invest in Calgary, because if it gets so popular and becomes as big as Toronto, or maybe a little bit less than big as Toronto, you know, those people who have homes here or any kind of real estate, for that matter, a spot on a map with a continuously growing city which grows like every year, you can become a millionaire by just having a spot here over a very long period of time. I don't want to say short time, but it's possible. Now, what did I do in Calgary, guys? After finishing immigration, after being an international student, paying 3 times the tuition here in Canada, and a lot of people are like, you're from Ukraine, you're getting benefits. Like, I haven't got a single dollar since I came to Canada from the government, ever. So in terms of like me being from Ukraine, people have to realize I came here before anything ever started in Ukraine, and I had to pay triple the amount, the taxes and everything and everything and everything. So I haven't got a penny out of it. And also I want to say, guys, after getting all the career and immigration and everything done, now I became a real estate agent here in Calgary, Alberta with eXp Realty, and I helped a lot of people move from Toronto into Calgary, and from Vancouver into Calgary. My contacts are in the description of this video. Now, here's what I want to say about Calgary. Number one is, what I like about Calgary the most, I would say, is, well, there is diversity here. Okay, there is diversity here too. I just want to say that it's more of a small town kind of mindset, yet if you live closer to downtown in the inner city, you can have all the nightlife, all the restaurants, all the shopping mall. It's really close to the mountains, right? So Banff, Lake Louise, all those beautiful places, hiking trails, mountain biking. I'm buying a kayak for summer, by the way. Yeah, because in Calgary you can afford buying a kayak, and we have the mountains. In Toronto I wouldn't be able I don't know, maybe I would have a kayak. I don't know how things are, but it's too expensive out there. That's why I'm over here. Out of all the people I studied with, about 2 people have purchased apartments, condos for over $600,000 somewhere in Toronto, and that's not even in downtown. But anyways, long story short, everyone who I studied with, who moved to Calgary, are very successful. They own their homes. They travel the world, they travel different countries, and they're very happy. And yes, we have a little bit of a longer winter, we have a little bit of a colder winter, but we do have Chinooks, we do have the mountains, and we do have so much of more benefits that I hope people are not going to take advantage of, and they would stay out because it's too cold here. Don't come here. It's bad. Toronto is better. Vancouver is better. Stay there because that's the place. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone about this place. It's actually really good, beautiful, big city, lots of jobs, lots of opportunities, education, and everything. But don't tell anyone. Let them stay in Toronto. Anyways, guys, see you next video. And it's of course, before I go, I'm going to make a thumbnail. Don't move to Calgary. Oh, it's cold.